Good morning, and welcome to Morning Cereal. Okay, good morning, and welcome to Monday. I hope you enjoyed the holiday with your family and friends, and you had a great weekend. But hopefully it wasn't too great of a weekend because today is National Surprise Drug Test Day. Just trying to give you a heads up there. Today is also Big Word Day. And I'm sure you know this already, but the longest word in most English dictionaries is a 45-letter word that refers to a lung disease caused by inhaling silica dust. Here's the word, pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Now, if you don't know how to spell that, look it up in the dictionary. All right, well, our quote today is about making a positive influence in our world. And it is from singer-songwriter Prince. And Prince said, quote, "The truth is you are either here to enlighten or to discourage," end quote. Here's a hint, pick enlightenment. Well, today's news, facts, and birthdays are for April 21st. And we're going to start back in 1956 when on this day, Elvis Presley's first hit record, Heartbreak Hotel, became #1 on the charts. Then jumping up to 1986, on this date, in a much hyped television special, American journalist Geraldo Rivera, he opened a vault that was found in the former headquarters of the Chicago gangster Al Capone. Now, remember, they had all the cameras in there. They're going to open it up in prime time. And there was an estimated 30 million TV viewers watching it. And when Geraldo opened it, it was discovered that the vault was empty. Also on this date, back in 1991, a very dark turn for the nation, but you might remember, you probably don't, but you know the outcome of it. Olympic gold-winning decathlete Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, he married Kris Kardashian in Los Angeles on this day. Sadly, this eventually resulted in endless hours of useless television and countless lost brain cells. And then lastly, in 2016 on this date, the musician Prince, who created groundbreaking music and hits, one of the biggest stars of the 80s and the 90s, unfortunately, he passed away prematurely at the age of 57 due to an accidental overdose. Well, happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. You share a birthday with a fairly short list today. Scottish actor James McAvoy, he's 46, and musician Iggy Pop, he's 78 today. Well, the #1 song on this date back in 1989 was Like a Prayer by Madonna. Now, this is a classic 80s song, and I remember there was so much controversy around the song's music video. And no, it wasn't because Madonna went brunette. It was due to the blending of religious imagery with themes of sexuality and racism in her music video. In fact, Pepsi pulled out of a TV commercial spot with Madonna to get distance from the controversy, despite already having paid her $5 million. Well, to bring this back around, the song, according to the Google, actually featured a Prince guitar solo. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that one out. Well, there's nothing controversial about some self-improvement. So let's jump back into that. We're reading Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in this first chapter, Inside Out, Covey is discussing the differences between character traits and personality ethic. And he's unpacking how our behaviors are based on our perspectives and our experiences, which he calls our paradigms. We all know that by now. And Covey describes the idea that despite our individual paradigms, within each of us exists an awareness of certain innate foundational principles, right? You hear me say them. And it's these principles, our character traits, that we must tap into to make real change. Personality ethic, on the other hand, those techniques are superficial. They're band-aids or aspirin that may only temporarily or situationally help, but they don't get at the root of our beings. So today we begin Covey's final subchapter in chapter 1, which is entitled A New Level of Thinking, where Covey comes out of the gate with a quote from Albert Einstein, who said, quote, "The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them," end quote. Covey's point here is that the personality ethic of quick fixes isn't enough to implement real change in ourselves because, quote, "these are deep, fundamental problems that cannot be solved on the superficial level on which they were created," end quote. We need a deeper level of thinking, quote, "a paradigm based on the principles that accurately describe the territory of effective human being and interacting," end quote. Covey calls this the, quote, inside-out approach. And that is what this book is all about. It's starting with dealing with ourselves first, our character, our motives. So here are some examples from Covey. If you want to have a happy marriage or friendships, be a kind person who generates positive energy and sidesteps negative energy rather than empowering it, end quote. And if you want to have a more pleasant, cooperative teenager, then be more understanding, be more empathetic, consistent, loving parent, end quote. And if you want to have trust, be trustworthy. Covey says these, quote, private victories precede public victories. Keeping promises to ourselves precedes keeping promises to others, end quote. Inside Out is a process that grows and, quote, leads to progressively higher forms of responsible independence and effective interdependence, end quote. So the 7 habits that are covered in this book are many of the principles that we innately already have, quote, deep within us, in our conscience, in our common sense, end quote. And to recognize and develop them and to use them in meeting our deepest concerns, we need to think differently, to shift our paradigms to a new, deeper, inside-out level, and to do so sincerely as we seek to integrate them into our daily lives. All right, that was a lot said right there, but nice job getting through chapter 1. Now we know Covey wants us to make these character changes at our core, and we'll learn more about those tomorrow as we start Covey's chapter 2, the 7 habits and an overview. So I hope your Monday's off to a great start. Have a fantastic week, and just keep moving forward, one step at a time. Thanks for joining us today. Come back tomorrow, and have a fantastic day. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Morning Serial podcast on the One Life Live It channel. You can find more episodes and videos by visiting our YouTube channel and the website at Sean Inglis and at SeanInglis.com, where you can also follow our other podcasts, the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis podcast and the Life Happens podcast. In these other podcasts, we'll dive deeper into everyday issues, self-improvement and well-being, business and finance, and we welcome special guests too. So join us. It'll be a good time, I promise. Thanks again for listening. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow.